Hi team. So I thought now we're sort of 4 or 5 videos into my little series on mindfulness that I'd just pause for a bit and talk us for a few minutes about why mindfulness is really useful. I think awareness is definitely building around mindfulness as a technique for managing our mental health. So it's often part of the treatment pathways for things like anxiety and depression. And it has pretty well researched and pretty conclusive benefits for mental and physical health conditions. So I talked in a previous video about the drive system, doing stuff, to-do list, kind of focus, work, etc. The threat system, which is more kind of anxiety, worry based. And then the soothe system. So our body needs all of those, and brain needs all of those 3 systems in a balance in order to be able to work effectively. And when we miss out on soothe, which I think a lot of people do, we are causing ourselves a little bit of a future problem. I think mindfulness can be a great way of helping to consciously build in some of that soothe time into our day. So it has huge benefits for our mental and physical health. In terms of physical health, a couple of examples is that our digestive system and our sort of reproductive hormonal systems get sort of turned down slightly when we're in that threat anxious state. So with the adrenaline and cortisol floating around our body, those stress hormones switch off those other sort of background systems, and we're really not built to be in that state for long periods of time like a lot of us are these days. They're short-term stressful, scary situation systems. They're not long-term bubbling along horrible work stress situations. So that's, using mindfulness as a way to get us out of threat will improve digestive health, reproductive health, for example. In terms of training, I'm a great believer that it can help our training in lots of different ways when we have a little bit of mindfulness time or soothe system time in each day, maintaining that balance across the 3 systems. So an example might be building body awareness, being able to pick up and actually give our body time to talk to us and tell us that something's not quite right. If we ignore it for too long, often it will start shouting at us, which isn't the stage we really want to get to. So noticing if something's maybe niggling just slightly, noticing that perhaps our energy levels are really low, or we're missing on our sleep because we've been so busy with the to-do list or so worried and anxious about things that we've not noticed that our body is feeling really, really tired. And perhaps we need to prioritise recovery, both mentally and training-wise. I'm a great believer in that it can help with our performance in workouts and events and races as well. So that building that self-awareness, learning to be able to listen to your body, be guided by your body in terms of pace, in terms of effort level, in terms of its preferences around food, temperature, kit, clothing. Our body can tell us a lot of really, really, really useful stuff if only we give it the time to tell that and actually listen to it and give it the space to have that conversation. Another big one that you might see watching the Olympic coverage perhaps at the moment is we can also use forms of mindfulness to kind of get ourselves in that performance zone mentally, so that we're not got too much pre-race nervousness and adrenaline and cortisol before an event or a key workout, that we've got that right balance of soothe and that motivational drive system on race day morning perhaps. And also being in that soothe state will be really, really good for maximising your recovery. So I mentioned adrenaline and cortisol, impacting our digestion, impacting our reproductive hormones. But when we're in that sort of adrenaline, cortisol, stress, threat, anxiety state, that will also massively impact our ability to recover from and adapt to training. So having that sort of calming, physically inactive rest time where you're in that soothe state will also really help your recovery from training and your adaptation and the speed at which you're going to adapt to the training that you're doing. So loads of pretty awesome reasons to get a bit of soothe state time or get a bit of mindfulness time in your day. I'd love to hear suggestions from you, what you're doing with that at the moment, and also what you'd perhaps like to hear more about around mindfulness in my next video.